Welcome back to another Overreaction Monday. We got a great one for you guys. This is week 10 of the NFL season. There was a lot of upsets, a lot of crazy ending of games, and I'm so excited to break it all down for you. Me and Vince were calm, cool, collected this entire Sunday watching games because my Packers are on a bye, his Seahawks are on a bye, so no losses, no wins, no losses, which I'll take any day of the week. But we're going to head straight into this Overreaction Monday, and our first overreaction is we're going to be breaking down is who can beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are still undefeated. They blocked a field goal last minute against the Denver Broncos, who the Broncos looked like they were the better team, staying ahead. They had the lead almost the entire game.
Pretty much.
Chiefs took the reins at the very end, the lead, and then the Broncos were in perfect situation to kick a easy field goal that they were going to make with Will Lutz, I believe, is their kicker, who's almost automatic throughout his career, and then it got blocked. Crazy.
Gosh.
There's a lot of other reffing decisions in there. I know you guys are going to put in the comments probably about how the Patrick Mahomes is telling the ref, hey, can you tell me when they're getting close to me? Which he wasn't asking the ref; he was asking his right tackle. It's already it's exploded all over the news. Like he's asking the refs to cheat for him or whatever. It's ridiculous. He did not, guys. And then also just some other pass interference as usual. People are always pissed off that Mahomes or the Chiefs always get them. But they come out with the win again, miraculous win at the very end, and it just begs to wonder. There's been a lot of close games, but they always end up winning it. Who can beat the Chiefs? So Vincent, go ahead and bring up the schedule, and we're gonna figure out where the heck the Chiefs get their first loss, or are they going undefeated?
Alrighty, so let's bring this up. Gonna change that right there. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in just one more, just for good old time's sake.
Whoa.
There we are. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go through their other games, right? Because there's only two games out of this entire season that they have not won by more than one score. 7 points or less. Only 2 games out of their 9-0 stretch now. So, of course, we know Denver, just the past one. Miraculous, right? What a great time to have the best field goal block in all of history, basically. But they have some tough matchups in the next, maybe just 2 matchups, in my opinion, where they could actually lose. I don't know if there's more matchups than that, but I think next week Buffalo is one of their biggest matchups. So we could be seeing it soon, but we could also be not seeing it soon. Because as you see after that, we have Carolina, Las Vegas, who almost, as you see right here, almost got them. Almost. But it's always only once a year when they almost get them or actually get them. So I think this one in Arrowhead Stadium is not going to be a close game. The Chargers is a maybe, but I'm not 100% drawn to that. I don't feel good about it either. Yeah, I think that Andy Reid will get the best of Harbaugh and Herbert over there. So Cleveland, I don't think is going to do it.
No.
I don't think Houston is going to do it unless they play miraculously like they did today.
Yes.
Or yesterday, whatever. Yeah. So, again, I don't think that Houston will end up doing it. It's more of a long shot, in my opinion, than this next team.
Woo.
Pittsburgh in week 17. I think if it doesn't happen within these next, 6 weeks, it's going to be the Steelers. I think by that time they'll be primed and ready. They'll have a great record still, in my opinion. But also, what if it's the first season where it's undefeated, they go to the Super Bowl, and it's the most memorable season ever when they hit the 3-peat?
It could happen. There's also the chances they've already won the 1 seed. by Pittsburgh, and then they decide to sit their starters. That is a possible chance.
That's true.
Now, I think they may want to go for the perfect season, which can ultimately bite them in the butt, depending on injuries, unfortunately. But there is a chance that they could sit people against Pittsburgh. But I'm going to throw out a little wild card here, Vincent.
Go ahead.
I really think that the Carolina Panthers could beat the Chiefs. Okay, let me lay it down for you. Bryce Young and the Panthers, they're on a win streak. They're on a win streak. 2 wins in a row. Nothing can stop them at this point, in my opinion. But seriously, like, we've seen time and time again, season after season, where the top team just craps the bed against one of the worst teams in the NFL. The season that always comes, the team that always comes back to me is when the Packers 2011 season, we went 15-1. We lost to the Chiefs. At that time, we're the worst team in the league. That was the last time being the worst team in the league. But the Chiefs were terrible that year, and they somehow beat us. Still to this day, don't know why. Why did we play so bad against them that week? But they were somehow able to beat us. I somehow think that the Carolina Panthers can pull up an upset and just surprise the whole NFL, and then the Chiefs just be the Chiefs the rest of the season. What do you think, Vince?
It's not, any given Sunday is what we always say.
Yes.
But if we're going to go the hypothetical of not being Buffalo or Pittsburgh, I'm going to bet probably on Cleveland.
You think with the Jameis Winston?
I think so. I think with another 4 or 5 more weeks under Jameis Winston and that whole team, they're going to have some rhythm. So if it's not Buffalo or Pittsburgh or Carolina, like you're saying, I think it's going to be Cleveland. Okay. I think that is my underdog statement there.
Okay. There's definitely a lot of losable games here. Buffalo, Carolina, maybe. Chargers, Cleveland, maybe. Houston definitely could beat them. Pittsburgh can beat them. And as we saw, Denver does have the chance, as long as they can make sure they block their field goals. They're blocking so they can't. The Chiefs can't block them. The Denver technically has a chance to beat them as well. So definitely some losses here. I think they at least get 2. At very least, they get 2, because I don't. Even though the Chiefs are like winning games and they're undefeated, on paper the best team technically, as far as you look at record, best team in the NFL. I don't think they're playing that well, in my opinion. We saw them play down to the level of Denver. We saw them play down to the level of other teams. I think they play to the level of their opponents usually, and I don't think that they have the chance. Even though I think they are my Super Bowl favorites, I don't think they have the ability just to dominate teams week after week for the entire season. They've been doing it so far, but the entire season, I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, I would say maybe if it's not 1, it's going to be 2 losses that they'll end up having by the end of the season. I think it's very plausible that they do have the opportunity to sit their starters by week 17 if they wanted to. I just don't think they would, just because of having that first round bye locked down. I think 3 weeks of not playing football while you're going into the divisional round is pretty scary. I don't think any team would want to do that to their starters. Yes, it is extra rest, but it's also a way to get the rust back on. And
for sure.
Maybe the Chiefs would not have that rust, because of how great of a team they're coached to be. But also I could see them not sitting any of their starters the entire season, to be honest, just for that reason.
Only time will tell, but definitely Chiefs still undefeated. Could lose next week to Buffalo, but also could somehow end up the season undefeated. We'll have to wait and see. Past that, we are going to go over to the San Francisco 49ers. And Vincent, I need you. Have you ever seen the movie Dodgeball?
Yeah.
What are the 3 the D's, right?
It's the 5 D's.
5 D's. What do you remember what they are?
Dodge, dive, dip, duck, and dodge.
Okay. All right. We're going to use all 5 of those right now because guess what? Jake Moody is on the screen right now, and he's kicking field goals. We're going wide left. Oh, my God. We're going wide right. Oh, my God. There's missed field goals everywhere, guys. So if you were at a 49er game, if Jake Moody is kicking a field goal, you be careful out there because it most likely could hit you in the face with how he's kicking out there. So the San Francisco 49ers were able to beat the Buccaneers this past week 23-20. Very close game, but it shouldn't have been close because Jake Moody, even though he hit the game winner to make it not go into overtime, he ended up missing 3 other field goals in the same game. Big special teams problem over there in San Francisco. Has been for a while. The past 3 or 4 years, there's the special teams has not been good, whether it's the kicking, whether it's the punting, whether it's just the covering. It has been really tough over there. We've seen it in Seattle when we were there live, and then not being able to cover kicks well. We've seen them this past game, if I remember correctly, there was a muffed fumble of the guy just got ran back into Deebo Samuel, who's trying to take the punt. This special teams is very, very bad. AJ has for weeks now called for the firing of their special teams coordinator. We'll see if it happens. I don't know if it fits anything, but Jake Moody, even though they spent a 3rd-round pick on him just 2 drafts ago, it may be time to move on from him. Vincent, what are your thoughts as a Seahawks fan?
I say they keep him, bro. You spent a 3rd-round pick on him. He's still on his rookie contract. Of course, kickers can sometimes be expensive if you want a great one, you know. But, I mean, they got the win, guys. It's all good. I mean, if you watched AJ's live right after the game on his post-game interview, you can tell 49ers fans are disgruntled by this, I'll say the least. I'll give Jake Moody a little bit of some grace here. Kicking is a hard job, but it is your job. And I agree with what AJ said. If you can't do your job, you should be fired from your job. So, yeah, I think Jake Moody should be cut. Do I think that this is his last game for the 49ers? No, because, again, there's not so many great kickers to sign out there. Yeah, you can sign all these undrafted kickers that are always trying to get on a team. I mean, there was even a guy today who played for the Commanders, I believe. He was from the CFL, and he did great. So, again, it happens. You can get a kicker from off of these squads, off the practice squads sometimes too, and they're better than the guy you have at this point in time. It's all mental for these kickers. So sometimes they're just not in the groove. And I don't know what's happening with Jake Moody, but it is what it is, and I wouldn't be mad at them if they cut him early off of his rookie contract, but I wouldn't be mad also if they kept him.
For sure. Now, the only time will tell what they do with special teams. There's a lot more to fits there other than just cutting a kicker. There's not a whole lot of great kickers out there, so it doesn't just solve everything, as you say, Vincent. But we're going to watch a quick clip of one of the plays that I think was an incredible Baker Mayfield play here, where I am just astonished of how Nick Bosa was not able to get him on the ground. So watch this, guys. He's holding his arm for 2 seconds or whatever, and somehow ends up completing it on 4th down for a 1st down. But look at Nick Bosa, man. Has him like an arm lock or whatever for 5 yards, basically. 5 more plus yards. And I don't understand. I don't know if there's some illegal tackle with it of why he didn't just grab arm, fall down, and pull him down.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why he was running with him. But incredible play by Baker on the run, literally being held by his arm and able to complete that on a 4th down. Incredible play. But Nick Bosa, what the heck you doing, man?
It's okay, Reed, because literally on that same drive, I believe it was 2nd down, literally 2 plays later, I believe. he got the sack on Baker Mayfield. So he made up for it later on. But yeah, it's like, I don't know if there is a special rule, just like you were talking about, where he can't be yanking down on his arm or anything. They might throw a flag on it, something, roughing the passer, blah, 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 blah. We know how this league is now. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, as soon as that play happened, both you and I were in our NSP X Twitter chat instantaneously. We were ready to say something to AJ, even though he doesn't check his phone during the games. But it was just funny. I thought he made Nick Bosa look silly there, to say the least. But Baker Mayfield has an insane arm, man. To get that pass off when you don't have your arm, because it's being pulled on and yanked on by a literally 250, 60-pound guy full of muscle. Because we saw him at the Seahawks game. That guy's like insanely ripped.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it takes a lot of core strength, the big arm. So kudos to Baker, man. It was awesome.
For sure. Now, let's move away from the 49ers. Enough talk about them, for sure. Let's move on to a team that travels better than better than any other team I've seen as far as fans. Where they show up and just take over a stadium. We've seen it with the Niners. We've seen it with the Packers. But the Steel Curtain travels better than any other team. They took over Washington this game, and man, did they have an incredible game. They won 28-27. And my overreaction for this is the Steelers are dangerous. Key on the Russ part of that. Russell Wilson had a really good game. He only completed about 50% of his passes, but he threw for 195 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception to give his team the lead. Now, Vincent, I'm going to hand the mic over to you because you are the Russell Wilson expert here on the podcast, as you did get to watch him firsthand for so many years. What are your thoughts of Russell Wilson? And especially as you are a Justin Fields truther here, as you would say, are you happy with how this Russell Wilson Steelers offense has looked? Do you think he's playing better than Justin? Are you okay with the change now? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I guess I would say I'm okay with the change. It was great. I mean, it's always great to see your ex-quarterback playing well. I know that we're not going to get into it, but your ex-quarterback is not playing well. But yeah, Russell Wilson has won against the Jets. He's won against the Giants. He's won against Washington just this past Sunday. So it was pretty awesome. I like seeing it. Valdez-Scantling has been playing great for them. I mean, I believe he had, I think it was 1 for sure. I know that. I don't know if it was 2 touchdowns from him.
That's you're talking about Mike Williams. Valdez-Scantling went to the Saints.
Oh yeah, you're right. Correct.
Yeah.
I am mixing that up. Valdez-Scantling goes everywhere. But yeah, Mike Williams had that winner. It was great. It's cool. I'm just gonna bring this back up because I still have this. Mr. Russell Wilson, he's dangerous. He's playing well. He's not playing as well as he was when he was with the Seahawks.
For sure.
But I like to see it. I would also like to see Justin Fields out there. I think he could produce, if not the same, maybe a little bit more. That's just me. I don't think his passing skills are as great because Russell Wilson has that moon ball. He has the precision a little bit better than Justin Fields at this time. But I think Justin Fields is also a dog. So the Steelers are in the best situation possible, whether they want to keep Justin Fields or they want to keep Russell Wilson or they want to keep both somehow. It's doable. I think they can do it with their cap situation there. I don't know. I like seeing Russ, but I also want to see Justin Fields in this league playing. So
I agree with you. I think they're in a good situation where if Russell Wilson does get hurt somehow in the season, they have another quarterback that can go in there, immediately take snaps, and that shouldn't interrupt the offense at all, other than, hey, there's a new guy in your huddle, you know? So I don't think I think they're in a really good situation. As far as postseason after the season, because they both are hitting free agency, both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, who's leaving his rookie contract. I don't know what you do, really. Russell Wilson is not going to be the future, as he is an older quarterback, and we're lucky that he's playing this well at this point in his career with how bad the past couple of years have been. Justin Fields. I don't know if you want to sign him to a big contract either. I would might sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal, maybe at most, given what the Seahawks gave Geno. I don't even think he would give him that. But you don't want to be on a 1 year deal with your quarterbacks for forever. But you also want to find the future guy of your team. You've been trying to find the future guy ever since Roethlisberger retired. Kenny Pickett wasn't it. Now you've moved on, and you're trying to figure it out. You got two good options. I really don't know what the right option is, if I'm being honest at this point. I love Russell Wilson. I think you should continue playing him for the rest of the regular season. But yes, I'd agree with you. I want to see Justin Fields on the field. I think he definitely deserves another chance in this league. The Bears did him dirty with playing with a terrible team for so long. I will attack Justin Fields with I don't think his passing capabilities very well. But if you put him in the right offense with the right coaching scheme, I do think he can succeed in the NFL. I definitely want to see him get another chance, whether it be with the Steelers or another team. But very interested to see what the Steelers do for the rest of the season. I definitely see them making the playoffs at this point for sure, and even maybe stealing a game next season. Or in the playoffs. I think they definitely steal a game against somebody. So definitely they are dangerous, if I've had to say so myself. But let's move on from the steel curtain, unless you have anything else, Vince.
Nah, man. I just think their schedule is going to be tough the rest of the season. They have some tough matchups coming up.
Hey, they're a tough team.
True.
All right, let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts. And we've talked about this team probably way more than we normally would for a team of this caliber, but it's just a very interesting situation going on over in Indianapolis. So as we all know, Anthony Richardson started the year, and he played like doo-doo, all right? And then there's this whole debacle of him pulling himself out of the game because he was tired on a third down and didn't want to play, apparently. And they very next week, they sat him for Joe Flacco, and that's been the starting quarterback for the Colts for the past 2 weeks. They have blowed chunks for the past 2 weeks. Joe Flacco does not look good. I believe, if I remember correctly, he started this game with an immediate, I think it was a pick six, if I remember correctly. He started the game with a pick six. Joe Flacco, I love you, man. I thank you for all the incredible things that you have been able to do, and I think you're still a good backup quarterback. But I don't think you right now is the veteran that Anthony Richardson needs to be sitting on the bench for and watching as, hey, this is what I need to be. Because it's not really good right now, man. The whole point of sitting Anthony Richardson is so he could watch a veteran play and prepare. And I bet Joe Flacco's preparedness and what he's doing in practice and stuff, I believe that's still top-notch stuff. Veteran guy who's won a Super Bowl, knows how to do it right. I've been doing it for so long. But I don't know if he's not watching it on the field actually translate. So I don't know how well it's doing for Anthony Richardson. I definitely, and I think Shane Steichen is if I remember correctly, is the head coach. He has said that Joe Flacco will be the continued starter until he says he isn't. So still looks like Joe Flacco will be the starting quarterback next week. Anthony Richardson, you might maybe want to put him back in sooner rather than later, because the second thing about Joe Flacco starting was he was supposed to help you guys win games. He was going to be your better chance of winning games. You're not winning games. So if you're not winning games and you're not developing your rookie quarterback, might as well throw him out there and just let him learn as it goes. What are your thoughts here, Vince?
I mean, I said it in my power rankings video. I think Anthony Richardson should be starting right now. Okay. When Joe Flacco played, I felt like Anthony Richardson would have also thrived in those games. I mean, when we saw Joe Flacco play well, he played well against Jacksonville when they were doing horribly. And then he played against Tennessee when he had a decent game as well. And Tennessee, as we know, is not a great team at this point in time. Yes, they can play great some games, but most of the time they're not great. So again, Joe Flacco has looked good against really bad teams, bottom of the barrel teams. And then when he goes against Minnesota and Buffalo, it's just in the Indianapolis Colts. not having great quarterbacks at this point in time and not having the best offensive lineup, I guess you could say sometimes. I still feel like they have a lot of guys that are very good in the wide receiver core, in the running back core. I mean, Downs has been playing amazing. Alec Pierce can have some great games. But yeah, I just think it's still a rebuild here in Indianapolis. They're still recovering. It's not going to go well. But yes, I think Anthony Richardson should be the starter. If he doesn't start next week against the Jets and they throw him in when they play the Detroit Lions, this organization is just total crap. They are the worst organization by far this year, in my opinion.
Okay.
Besides the Jets suck too.
Yeah, Jets are pretty bad.
But if they don't start Anthony Richardson after these horrible 2 games by Joe Flacco, like, this is the perfect time, because if not, then you're waiting to start him until week 13 against New England, which is a tough defense in itself, and he's not going to do well. So I don't know. Indy, you're a special breed of organization right now, running with a 39-year-old versus the 23-year-old or 22-year-old Anthony Richardson, who you drafted very high. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a perfect situation out there. Hopefully they've seen stuff in the locker room where Anthony Richardson has understood what his role is, that he is the starter quarterback, and there's a certain way he has to hold himself and not pull himself from games, even though he is more athletic than most of the quarterbacks playing out there. But if Lamar doesn't pull himself from a play, then Anthony Richardson, you have no excuse. You don't pull yourself from a game either. So that's just my thoughts. We'll see what the Colts end up doing, but definitely some QB concerns or questions over there in Indy. But let's go into our last overreaction of this week, and I probably should be playing some more some sad, sorrowful mourning songs because the Cowboys season is officially over. This team is not good. Dak, it most likely will find out late on Monday if he is going to be able to start or have a chance of starting for the rest of the week or the season. But he's most likely his muscle is off his bone or something. Dr. Vento, you can talk about that a little bit maybe if you've looked into it. I don't know. But most likely Dak Prescott is going to need surgery unless this last expert that checks him out says he doesn't, and he's going to be out for the season. The guy you just paid $60 million, Cooper Rush, not playing very well at all. And then they threw Trey Lance in there, who had some little spurts in there, but also threw an interception, which AJ said wasn't his fault. But from my eyes, it kind of didn't look like a great decision making, in my opinion, where he threw it. But yeah, this team is not good. That defensively, offensively, this team is really, really bad. I don't know what made them think that they were going to be able to put this thing together and it'd be great and they were going to be able to win something. I think organizationally, from Jerry Jones of setting the team, from Mike McCarthy of coaching the team, to the execution of the players, everything has been abysmal. I don't see them making the playoffs. I don't see them having a winning record. This team their season was over. I don't know if they're going to be good next year. Mike McCarthy's most likely fired at the end of the season. Vincent, what are your thoughts?
So yeah, I just quickly looked up 12 hours ago when he had his, his appointment with a specialist out there, whoever they went to, I have no idea. But apparently it was a partial hamstring avulsion, which just basically means that a little bit of his muscle, it was lifted off of its origination point on the bone. So basically where it connects, where your muscle pulls on your bone to make sure that you can move your leg in a certain way. Basically, it should be only 6 weeks. So he has the opportunity to come back by the end of the season, but I don't think they're going to do that. So it is season-ending injury and surgery. It is what it is. You know, Dak Prescott wasn't playing well at all either. So it's not bad. They should give Trey Lance more opportunities to go ahead and play this game, though. I do think that's the best option you could do because you traded him for, a 4th-round pick, I think it was. you might as well get something out of it, whether it's short term or long term, because Cooper Rush ain't it. Sorry, he's a great guy when we saw Hard Knocks and everything like that, but he's just not a quarterback ready guy in this league. So that's what I think. Also about McCarthy getting fired, I wouldn't be mad at it. I have no allegiance to McCarthy. I have no allegiance to the Cowboys. I'd rather have them, go with a guy like maybe Ben Johnson. Maybe that helps the Cowboys fans, but I don't want Ben Johnson to go and get ruined by that organization. So hopefully it's nobody good, because the Cowboys are no good as long as Jerry Jones is there.
Definitely agree with that. Be very interesting how the rest of the season goes, because Cowboy fans are very, very loud. The media is very, very loud about the Cowboys. So it's just going to get even hotter and hotter. They've been calling for Mike McCarthy to be fired, I feel like, for a few weeks now, which is crazy. But it's just going to get louder and louder every single week about Mike McCarthy getting fired, about the decisions that Jerry Jones has made, about Jerry Jones should be stepping down as owner, hand it off to his son, etc., or hire an actual GM to run the team. And Jerry, you worry about the business side of things, which I know you're good at. Right? You made the Cowboys into one of the most recognizable brands in the entire world, not just in America, in the entire world. That is what you have been able to do. So I respect you as far as that, but you cannot run this team very well anymore. You need to move on. You need to pass the torch already, buddy. All right. I know you want it. I know you want to be the guy that creates the Super Bowl for the Cowboys. You are the guy that's holding them back.
It's not likely, yeah.
You are the person that's holding this team back. So please hand off the torch. Move past this. All right. Vincent, anything to say about the Cowboys?
Y'all still them boys?
Y'all still them boys. I got right now. Vincent have all the teams that have beaten them right there for us. Right? So don't you worry about that. But yeah, that's all we got for Overreaction Monday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, go to the comments. Tell us how wrong we are. Go there, say, hey, the Cowboys are going to win it, make the playoffs, right? Oh, the Chiefs definitely aren't going to lose the rest of the season, or they're going to lose all their games. Let us know in the comments. Come attack us. And then always, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the sub button to see more NSP as we go live all the time. You guys want to stay tuned for everything we do. And then until next time, keep on grinding.